Okay, I think it might be good, man. Maybe. Yeah.
I am grateful for the days I wanted to quit, but I didn't. I am grateful that every time I fell, I learned how to rise again. I am grateful for my voice. I am grateful for my vision. I am grateful for the life I'm building, brick by brick.
Take out some time to just show gratitude for all the beautiful things in your life. It's one of those things that we should do in the beginning of our day or the end of the day. Whenever it's good. I like beginning of the day or end of the day because you're reflecting either on how to start your day or how to end your day. But either way, it's good to write down gratitude or just speak it out loud, the things that you're grateful for. There's so many things that I think or that I know that I took for granted at one point, and now it's like the simple things are so profound now. They are so much bigger than what I gave them credit for, if that makes sense. So it's good to stay grateful. Stay grateful. I've been messing with little TikTok stuff, and I like this little feature. It looks like energy. Loving the journey. Loving the journey. The whole ride through. I need to do some dance therapy. We're gonna pencil it in this week. Make it happen.
I wake with thanks in my chest, living gently, feeling blessed. Every small thing.
You don't really care for the blessed, but we're feeling blissful. That's for sure. Blissful, blissful. It's a beautiful feeling.
Let it grow. More and more begins to flow. Grateful, grateful all around. Peace and beauty rise unbound. Grateful, grateful, soft and true. Every gift keeps flowing through. Quiet joy in all I see. Life is generous to me. Breathing deep, I welcome more.
I appreciate life's generosity. Beautiful thing.
I let it grow. More and more begins to flow. Grateful, grateful all around. Peace and beauty rise unbound. Grateful, grateful, soft and true. Every gift keeps flowing through. Thankful for the light I hold. Thankful for the love I know. Every moment, every day. Grace and gratitude remain. Grateful, grateful all around. Peace and beauty rise unbound. Grateful, grateful, soft and true. Every gift keeps flowing through.
Make you want to dance a little bit. Rock a little bit, something.
I rise in softness, wrapped in gold. Every blessing I have called, slow and steady, deep and true. is mine is finding me. Thank you, thank you.
Gratitude, gratitude. Part of our reverbiage. Using our own wording. That's more fitting. It's really peaceful. Very, very peaceful.
Quiet power, calm and bright. Gratitude opens every gate. Everything arrives in perfect fate. I do not reach, I simply receive. All that is mine is finding me. Thank you, I am blessed.
We are blessed. Blessed. Alright, let me see if we can. Let's see what the next song sound like.
I am the prize. I am the prize.
You are the prize. I am the prize.
My energy is irresistible. My energy is magnetic. My energy is hypnotic. I am irreplaceable. I don't reach, I don't chase, I don't need to. I am always chosen. I am always desired. I am always valued naturally, effortlessly, without question. There is something about me, something felt, not explained. My presence lingers, my energy stays. I am noticed. I am remembered, without trying. I am the prize.
It works the best.
I am the prize. I am the prize. I move with intention. I move with certainty. I carry myself with calm confidence. I am calm. I am in control. I am calm power. I am quiet confidence. I don't need to be loud to be felt. I don't need to prove to be seen. I am enough in every moment.
I might go with this one.
I choose myself again and again. I honor myself fully, completely. My energy belongs to me. I invest in myself.
Invest in yourself is very important.
Things to come to me. I allow things to align. I receive easily. I receive naturally. What is meant for me stays with me. I am secure in who I am. I am certain in my energy. I don't seek validation.
We're gonna get started in just a minute.
I am already beyond enough as I am. I choose myself again and again. I honor myself fully, completely. My energy belongs to me. If it's not aligned, I release it. If it's not right, I let it fall away
Still
easily.
don't see the screen. I don't know why TikTok is.
I am the prize. I am the prize. I am the prize. Everything aligned with me finds me. I don't chase, I don't wait. I receive effortlessly. My energy is
So this book
My energy
is a book
My energy is hypnotic.
dedicated to our hair And it taps into the root chakra. It's called Rooted. And on the first page, there is an affirmation. I am anchored in my truth, my culture, my body, and my origins. It's like a hair affirmation. I like it. So when you move to the next page after the copyright page, it breaks down the 7 chakras and a very short description telling you what each chakra means. Like the root chakra is deep. Well, it tells you the color, and then let me see, and then the other name, like the Muladhara for the root chakra, and the color is a deep crimson, or grounding earth tones, which is like a red, warm amber, or a red. Warm amber goes into the sacral chakra. Orange, creative pulse. Orange and a creative pulse. Solar plex is radiant gold, yellow, and an empowerment glow. It could be like a gold, is what I would take that one as. Something kind of goldish. Different tones of yellow. Heart chakra is a lush emerald green, which is compassion and balance. Throat chakra is serene sky blue, which taps into the truth and clarity. And that throat, which is your, you're speaking, right? Our voice. The 6th chakra is the third eye chakra, which is an indigo violet, and it taps into your intuitive vision. Intuitive vision. And then the crown chakra, which is purple, and it taps into divine unity. Divine unity. So this poem is one of the longest poems that I've written. The Rooted poem. I also have some hair follicle information in here, since the poem and the book is about our hair. One is, you are born with more than 5 million bodily hair follicles and more than 1 million head follicles. A hair follicle is a tube-like structure or a pore that surrounds the root and the strand of the hair. The hair follicles exist in the top 2 layers of the skin. Hair follicles grow due to a complex interaction of hormones and the immune system. Each follicle represents who we are. And that's why our hair is, I look at our hair as it represents the land, the trees, the land. It's a natural, beautiful thing, and it represents the environment in so many different ways, depending on how we choose to wear it. That's just my personal opinion. So the poem. This poem is called Rooted, and I will read this poem. Let me pause the music. Grounded in my roots, I calmed out my stresses and indiscretions. Layer my dreams one by one like follicles, they grow in me, with me, and through me. So daily, I express my blessings loud and proud. Waving, braiding, combining three entities. As I past unlock the locks we rock. Tangled in the history that we never forgot. No detangler can untangle this web mess of lies, while one nationality attempts to capitalize, creating an enterprise on another's demise. A colored, checkered past, presently reminded of our past. Pressingly we press thee, pressing it bone straight constantly, trying to relate and blend in to another kind, but reminded that we are not blendable. Froed out, we showed out with these powerful roots, a direct connection to our truth. Yet we are picked off while we pick out the curls that roll about as we shout out loud. Injustice after injustice, no justice, just us. Bullets shot like parts to separate us. Nooses and traps set, how could one forget a racist paper trail like following the drip of the treaties and tea parties and constitutional decrees, grease to appease the greedy and cover up this corporation bankrupt by the trolls of this nation. Yeah, they've been hunting melanin out, trying to scatter our roots about. So the cotton pick sticks to the chest hairs, embracing false ties to us, programming lies about us. Spreading lies about us due to their unholiness and unrest that's unjust. Knees pressed, attempting to oppress the spirit, but we will always hear it and we will always feel it because we operate in spirit. The tender heads tied to the third eye. It strains the brain due to insight being insane, hearing echoes of our lives matter. Our lives matter, only to ring sparingly in the ears of haters and discriminators screaming, all lives matter and blue lives matter. But our lives are the only lives being splattered on broken sidewalks as our side burns me concrete. Face first, dry, brittle, and ungreased, hot, dirty, and uneased, crying I can't breathe. In a United States full of false hope, hypocrisy, and blue-collar conspiracy. Parted, reparted, then parted by hate. Shampooed with bullshit so the stank is real. Conditioned by what we see, not what's missing. Learning that our existence is the only reason that some exist because we created all of this. Modern day slaving while they try to shave us bald of it all. Brushing our origins worldwide as they try to hide behind white sheets and their own man-made laws. Bundling us, outsourcing us, implanting us, programming us. So we hair tie our heritage that they constantly try and untie as we pull tighter and tighter, embracing strand by strand as we stand. Crown glowing as we count our blessings loud and proud. So if my hair is too big and too bold and is blocking your view, move around and know that every strand represents who I am, and taming it won't happen. And when my natural form fro forms questions like, can I touch? The one thing you haven't been able to alter or adjust, I will definitely cut you off in full rage. Rest in eternity rage. With a smile on my face as I say, don't even think about it. And that wraps up that poem. And it is a long one for real. But I like that poem. Just ties all the inequality, you know. It's a lot of stuff that happens in colleges and a lot of stuff that happens in schools that we don't really hear a lot about. But, you know, we know about them because we know people that know people. And so we hear about these stories. But nonetheless, we don't harp on them, but we do talk about them because we can. So that is one of the poems in the book. This book is on Amazon. And my daughter drew the picture on the cover, which is really beautiful, and I really enjoy it. So one of the affirmations is in the book, no, you can't touch this, my hair and my space. So they're like hair affirmations that I thought were really cute. So these will be good for young adults as well. I also have a dedication to Miss Isis Brantley. And Dr. Kimberly gave me a lot of information about her. So I looked her up and found out that she was the mother of the natural hair movement. I got the opportunity to be a part of a petition that was going on to change some of the things in the beauty schools, and it was one of the laws that was changed with the Crown Act. And I found out that she had a lot to do with that. She was actually the pioneer behind it. And you know, a lot of times when we do stuff like this, we don't get the credit that we deserve. So I decided to make sure, or I actually was advised to, and I thought it was a good idea to make sure to shout her out in this book. So look her up. Her name is Isis Brantley. She is the mother of the natural hair movement. And she is based in Texas, and it's a natural hair movement. She is the pioneer. She is an educator and an activist. She's often called the mother of the natural hair movement, which I just said. But she's called that because she started promoting natural hair at a very, very long time ago, before anyone got into this whole natural hair movement, before anyone was natural. So she's been doing it for a long time, and she promotes indigenous hair care, and she's been doing it for decades before it became mainstream. So I thought that was something good for us to know. She founded the Institute for Ancestral Braiding to preserve indigenous cultural hair practices. To preserve our hair practices and to make sure that people know how to do them properly. So shout out to Miss Isis Brantley. Hold on a minute, I'm gonna close my blinds and grab my glasses. Okay, so I could see. Yep, so it's called the Institute for Ancestral Braiding. And she founded that to preserve indigenous hair culture and hair practices, which is amazing. She's an advocate against discrimination towards natural hairstyles like locks, braids, afros, etc. And she is instrumental in pushing for the Crown Act in Texas. So that's something good to know. I don't know what's going on with my screen. Can you hear me? Morgan, I tried to send you an invite. She declared that hair care in the industry must create a respectful and an open world for natural hair care practitioners and clients. So that's why they added this to the schools, because if anybody knows that went to beauty school, like they were still teaching, and they still are like teaching that old school back home, and I don't know, it is still a few old ladies that get that, which, you know, if that's your style, that's your style. It's not a, degrading or anything. I'm just making a point that, as time changes, the school, what they're teaching and the styles and all of that should be updated to what's going on in the current, in the current trends and in the current culture, right? Like all the things that's going on today should matter and not like 20 years ago, because that don't make sense. And they didn't have anything in there that was teaching any of our hair. So you graduate and then it's like you have to practice on people before you get to know how to actually do it, which a lot of people that go to school, they already know it, but it still don't matter. They should have it as a part of the curriculum. So I think that's really good. So shout out to Miss Isis for that. And I'm going to say Miss Isis, but Miss Isis Brantley is her full name. I'm going to put some respect on her name because she definitely deserves that. So I also have a picture in here that breaks down the Crown Act, which is creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. And I think that's important. And it's sad that we have to put laws in place, but we live in a world where it is what it is. The Crown Act bans discrimination based on hair texture and protective styles. It protects people in schools, workplaces, and housing. Texas passed its version in 2023. Before this movement, people, especially indigenous women and children, could be sent home from school, denied jobs, punished or labeled unprofessional, my bad, just for wearing their natural hair. Miss Brantley turned that experience into a policy change, making Texas one of many states to legally protect natural hair, which is a beautiful thing. And Texture for Change is what that movement was called. It is a movement committed to transforming the future of professional beauty through equitable access to textured hair education. And so I put all that information in the back of the book just to let you know. Or it's actually kind of mid-book because it's before you start with the affirmations. Just to let you know, the face behind the movement, because a lot of times they don't get that credit and she deserves that. So the next affirmation we have in here is, my follicles are beautiful. These are really good affirmations to go over with your kids as well, just to instill that in them before they even start school. Like, they need to know these things about themselves and have it already instilled in them, so that, when they hear this crazy stuff that people come up with, they don't even pay attention to it. It roll off their back. Your hair is your antenna guiding you and protecting you. Your hair is an extension of your central nervous system, transmitting vast amounts of vital information to your limbic system? Lymphatic system. It's crazy because I still can't see you, but I'm glad you're here. I don't know what's going on with the boxes. I can't see nothing on the screen.
It was like that earlier when I was on live with my song. They doing something. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they are. Okay, transmitting vast amounts of vital information to your lymphatic system, your neocortex, and the brainstem, creating extra sensory capabilities and heightening awareness. So your hair is very powerful, and you should know that. Like, walk with that and let that hair free. My hair is an extension of me. That's another good affirmation. So how's your day been?
Today's been busy. I got up this morning and I started working on your book. And so I got all the way down to the 7-day chakra cleanse. And that took up most of my morning. And then I recorded 2 episodes and I published one of them. I got another one to publish. I cut out meat on Sunday. So Saturday was my last day eating meat. And so I'm detoxing for real. And, it's been a lot of people been hitting me up recently. It's just a lot going on. Like, we're really in the year of the workhorse.
Yes, ma'am. I concur. And so I keep going. I gotta keep it pushing. It's crazy how I just been so motivated to just push. Like I've been creating so much, and it's a good feeling to be able to just freely have you know how they say, you can have writer's block and stuff. I noticed sometimes we could go through stuff and it could hinder our creative, and that what the solar plexus. Look, and no, the sacral first, which
Yes,
is
the sacral blocks creativity, most
which is our
definitely.
creative area. And I realized taking those classes with TT how that ties into our money and our everything and how that flows, and that is just it makes so much sense. But
It do.
it's a good feeling to have things just flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing. So I'm excited about what's to come.
I am too. I know last week I woke up and just felt the need to move my energy around, which was my sacral chakra. And so I just been walking everywhere lately. I've been walking. Today was probably the first day I didn't get up and walk, and I started to, but I had so much work to do, Father. So I'll just sit up in here and work, but like the abundance of creativity is always crazy to me. I
Yeah,
love it. It feels good.
it do. I'm trying to figure out what's the best. Call myself playing with these backgrounds, but let's do this one. Yeah, why is it blending in? It ain't supposed to be showing my background with the green screen. Yeah, we glitching all up.
Well, hey, Powerful Risings 8 Cupcake 5. What episode did you listen to? I'd love to know what you heard, because it ain't no telling what the fuck you been listening to.
That's a good. But what is going on, TikTok? It's showing me and the green screen, and that's a double whammy, ain't it? It ain't supposed to do that. But I ain't mad, but then it got my chakra guy in there too.
I was on live yesterday and I was telling them about the anagram JESUS Jesus. It means Joint European Slave Unionship. And most people don't even know that. I just found out about it last year. And so Cupcake said she just listened to that episode. I hope that I was not in a good place when I recorded that episode. But I knew the information needed to get out. And so I had to push through it. So like me and Miss Demetria just got done talking about the energy and how different it feels right now, because I don't have this same creative block that I did when I was recording them episodes. And it was like I was fighting through programming to get that episode out the way that it needed to come out. And so I appreciate you for listening, as well as accepting the truth. This shit is so real, and people don't understand the history, and so they can't conceptualize to what extent people were trying to hinder us. So I hope that you enjoyed that episode, and thank you for letting me know you listen. It means so much to me.
I can't see comments or nothing, so my bad. But shout out to y'all, everybody in the comments.
It's real. Alrighty. We're going to be reading a section from To Consume the Scroll, Unveiling the Divine Word Through Prophecy and Alchemy. This is probably my least read book, but I've been thinking about it a lot, and I hope that you guys will be able to pick up on the undertones of this book. I know that a lot of people are decentering away from Christianity, but there's so many secrets hidden within it, and you have to view it from an esoteric lens, and that is what I've been working on. And so that's what this book is about. It's about consuming the scroll. Now I'm going to start here in chapter 2, which is the biblical foundations. Daniel seals words, and Isaiah's vision. So after exploring the scroll's hands-on history in chapter 1, from its cut beginnings to rolled forms, its true divine role comes into focus for me. A sealed container bursting with end-time secrets too powerful to spill early. These Old Testament scrolls built the foundation, hinting at the prophet's later feasts and Revelation's lamb-breaking seals. In biblical order, Isaiah's confusing sealed book comes first, then Jeremiah's burned and reborn roll, Jeremiah's joyful eating of the words, then Daniel's locked Sefer, and Zechariah's flying curse. They ground my Afrocentric take on reclaiming wisdom, just as thought hid truths and commit, Yahweh seals them for the ready. From the March 1st light codes that I got onward, this sets the stage plain and simple. These are not random stories. They are the bedrock scrolls pointing to eating the word, ready for end times when knowledge explodes. Let's unroll them one by one. Let's read Isaiah's sealed book and the seven spirits. And this comes from Isaiah chapter 29, verse 11 through 12, and chapter 11 from verses 2 through 3. Now, Isaiah speaks first in biblical order, delivering a tough message against Ariel. That's another name for Jerusalem, pictured as God's altar or fireplace. This chapter paints a picture of people trapped by a sealed scroll that they cannot open. The exact words go like this. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of the book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. He saith, I cannot, for it is sealed, which they say to the unlearned, Read this, I pray thee. And he says, I cannot learn. This is Isaiah 29, verses 11 through 12. Think of it in early terms. Someone hands a smart scholar a rolled up scroll and says, Read it. He tries, but the seals or ties hold it shut and he cannot get in. They give him an everyday person who never learned how to read, and that person just shrugs. I don't know how. Nobody can crack it open. This isn't about bad spelling or no school. It's a deeper problem. The people act half asleep, stumbling through life. Their prophets chase fuzzy dreams like drinks, scribbling nonsense, and the priests sell spiritual advice for cash. The tables, meant for Torah study, covered with random scratches instead of the God's words. And as verse 13, they talk a good game about honoring God, but their hearts chase other things. But here are the turnaround hope. The Most High promises change. The deaf will hear the scroll, read it out loud. The blind folks will read the tiny print. Poor, humble people will jump for joy while bullies fade away. The sealed scroll calls out fake religion and sets up for the Most High's big flip, from confusion to clear sight. How to break the seal. These are the seven spirits. The way out of this mess comes through a special 7-part gift from God's Spirit poured out on David's future heir, called the Ruach. In Isaiah 11:1, the Ruach refers to a future king from King David's family bloodline, a promised shoot or stump sprouting from a cut down tree, symbolizing new life and hope after destruction. This full verse reads, quote, And there shall come forth out of the rod of the stem of Jesse a branch shall grow out of the roots. And it's Isaiah 11:1. Jesse was David's father. So this branch points straight to the Messiah, Christ, in Christian reading, who rises as a ruler of the perfect justice, wisdom, and peace. Isaiah 11:2 verses 3 lays it out step by step. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord, and shall make him quick in understanding in the fear of the Lord. That's Isaiah 11:2 verses 3. People often count these spirits like this. The Spirit of the Lord is the main power source. The Spirit of wisdom is the big picture smarts. The Spirit of understanding is getting the details right. The Spirit of counsel is good advice for decisions. The Spirit of might is the strength to act. The Spirit of knowledge is facts and insight, and the Spirit of the fear of the Lord is healthy respect and awe. Now, this isn't fluffy talk. It's real tools for the job. These spirits fill up the promised Messiah, just like in Revelation 5 and 6, where the Lamb has 7 horns for power and 7 eyes for all seeing smarts, sent out in the same 7 spirit. It's like getting a toolkit to bust open sealed scrolls during chaotic times. From the starting point, the first one is the fear of the Lord. Proverbs nails this down when he makes it all work. Proverbs 1 and 7 says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 9 and 10 adds, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. This fear, quote unquote, means wide-eyed wonder and respect for the Most High, not hiding under the bed terror. It is the open posture, like sitting in the sun, detoxing and gazing at the planets, that lets light codes flow past locked up thinking. This respect kickstarts everything, preparing scroll eaters to handle tough judgment turned into sweet wisdom. It even echoes ancient Egypt, where Thoth's bird wisdom stays hidden for those who approach with proper awe in the scroll rooms. Then the next scroll is Daniel's sealed Sefer. Daniel comes next in the Bible's timeline, saving his scroll talk for the very end of his book in chapter 12, the big finale full of end times visions, and an angel gives clear orders. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal up the book, even to the end, to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. It's Daniel 12 and 4. And then we have to jump down to chapter 9, to verse 9, because it hammers it home. And he, that's Daniel, said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the end, to the time of the end. The Sefer here means that rolled up writing, or the book from chapter 1, sealed safe from super hot prophecies. Daniel sees powerful otherworldly events locked inside this sealed Sefer, events too big and dangerous to share freely from this time. First, there's a massive resurrection of the dead. That's Daniel chapter 12, verses 2, and it spells it out clearly. Many of those that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some of the everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. That's Daniel chapter 12, verses 2. This means countless people long dead, lying like sleepers in the dirt, suddenly waking up. Some rise to eternal life with God, and the others face shame and endless disgrace. It's one of the Bible's clearest pictures of bodies coming back to life for final judgment. Good guys rewarded forever, and the bad guys are held accountable. I want to pause right here because I'm quite literally seeing that right now as I'm scrolling on TikTok. There's a girl who has a baby by Elon Musk. Her name is Ashley St. Clair, right? So when we're reading the word, and the word is talking about the dead in Christ, these are the people who are unconscious. They're not living spirits. You are alive, quote unquote, but because you are unaware, you are unconscious, you are dead in Christ, right? And so most times as we're inching towards the end of days, the end of times, before the reset, right, people are going to wake up. And this is the period that we're seeing right now. That's why people say grand rising, grand reset, grand powerful rises. That's what I say. Okay, so you have people who are physically waking up, and they are either joyful because while they were asleep, they still did things honorably, they did things respectfully, and they did things in alignment with nature and with source. Then you have some people who are waking up and they are discouraged. They're in anxiety and depression because they knew while they were asleep, or when they thought nobody was watching, that the shit that they did was fucked up and they doomed, right? And so those people already have judgment on them, and they judge themselves. So as I'm sitting on TikTok right now, I'm watching this girl. She used to be a MAGA Republican, and she has finally come to the understanding that the work that she did while she was unconscious, while she was asleep and unaware, was not in alignment with nature, not in alignment with the highest frequency. And so she is judging herself. She just got done making a whole entire video. Her name is Ashley St. Clair, if you want to look it up. Talking about how she started the dark MAGA movement. She gave Elon Musk his first black hat. She's talking about all of the rhetoric, and because she gave Elon Musk his first dark hat, she ended up supporting the Trump team to push all this MAGA racist rhetoric bullshit to cover up all the lies that they've been doing. And now that she is awake, she feels bad because she is aware that she's not in alignment. And so these are literally, if you are following this script, if you are in Christianity and you're following these scripts, these are the roles that people play when they're within the script. But because we are enlightened individuals, we no longer feel the need to follow the script. We are energy in motion, but the energy that we have that is in motion cannot be contained. So we do our own thing and we march to the beat of our own drum. Now, I just want to give that example. I'm going to jump back into the book. We're getting ready. We just got done reading about Daniel. And I'll read this scripture again. Many of those that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. That is Daniel chapter 12, verses 2. This means that countless people long dead, lying like sleepers in the dirt, suddenly wake up. Some rise to eternal life with God. Others face shame and endless disgrace. It is one of the Bible's clearest pictures of bodies coming back to life for final judgment. Good guys rewarded forever, and the bad guys are held accountable. Next, the archangel Michael steps into action. Daniel chapter 12, verses 1-16. And at the time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth up for the children of the people. They shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Michael, Israel's top guardian angel, rises during the worst crisis ever. Trouble bigger than any war or disaster in history. He fights for God's people, protecting those listed in the heavenly book of life. Despite the chaos, deliverance comes for the faithful. Finally, the text gives precise countdowns to mark these end time stages. Daniel chapter 12, verse 11 states, and from the time that daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abandonment that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. That's 1,290 days. It's about 3.5 years, starting from when the daily temple starts, worshiping stops, and some horrible abomination pollutes the holy place. And Daniel 12:12 adds, blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 2,335 days. Another 45 days is 1,335 days total. Blessings hit for those who endure. These numbers act like a sealed timetable, too risky to explain fully back then, but trickling down to God's victory. All this stays vaulted up in the cipher until the right moment, building urgency for today's readers to dig in. This information during this time period was too risky to let out early. As a response, the Most High locks it in with what looked like wax stamps or tight cords, like protecting Torahs rolled up in temple chests. But this still says nobody gets the picture until it's time. And that is this chapter. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. As you can see, if you're listening, I walked through every single stage of the Sefer. So essentially the Sefer starts off as one commandment, and as time evolves throughout the word, this Sefer continues to evolve as well. So it starts off on the inside, and then there's words printed on the outside, and then the Sefer itself is officially open in the book of Revelation, right? So we are divine, right? And so that means that we do not participate in the word, but we must understand that this is a script. And so those who are not divine, those who are the children of men, right, the hybrids, the humanoids, this is the script that they're playing into. And we also have some of our own people playing into this script. And so they are going to enact this out fully. And I hope that people are aware of that when they see Israel, the tiny hat people, they just gave Donald Trump the award and just labeled him as King Cyrus. King Cyrus can be found in the book of Revelation, right? So they're preparing to physically build this third temple because they are incapable of being able to decipher the word fully. And they're also incapable of defeating this subconscious loop of going through the Bible and playing a role in the script, right? And so it is good to be aware of all of this information that's going out and being pushed forward to you all, because for those who are unconscious, they will get sucked into this loop. They will give their energy to this loop, and it is not prosperous. Ms. Denitra, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Can I want to read from Energy in Motion.
Okay, let's do it. Let me change the background.
Yay, that's so exciting.
It's fire.
This is probably my most popular book outside of my 2026-2027 spiritual codex. And it is a working and understanding of energy, right? Understanding that your energy moves, and when your energy does move, it gives you certain responses. And so this is a look at energy work. So I'm going to read the first chapter with you all, and then I'll probably move down to the final chapters just so you can see how it starts and how it concludes. Okay. Alrighty. This is part 1, the foundations of energy. Chapter 1, what is energy? Core physics definition forms kinetic potential, thermal, electrical, solar, and law of conservation, bridging science to spiritual transformation. All my life, people have called me a big ball of energy. As a kid, I was always zipping around, full of wild ideas I couldn't wait to bring to life. Whether I was dreaming up inventions or just bouncing from one adventure to the next, my liveliness lit up every room. Walk into a space and folks would feel it, the energy would shift. Their own vibrations seemed to rise, like they were stretching up tall to match my frequency, and that's when I started to see it. I wasn't just energetic, I am energy, and guess what? So are you. You are an electromagnetic being, a living spark humming with the same force that powers the universe. Understanding this changes everything. It bridges the gap between everyday science and spiritual power that you're chasing. Let's break it down simply. No fancy jargon, just real talk on what energy is and how it moves and why it matters for your spiritual climb. Let's do the basics. Picture energy as the universe's fuel, and that is what makes things happen. It lights up your world, it keeps your heart beating, and even fuels your wildest dream. In plain terms, energy is the ability to do work or create change. Scientists measure it in joules. That's like a unit, like inches for length. And it comes from the old Greek word energia, meaning activity. That's spot on, right? Energy gets shit moving. But here's the game changer. Energy isn't something you have, it's what you are. Your body runs on electrical signals zapping through nerves, magnetic fields pulsating through your cells. That's why being around high vibrational people like me lifts you. Your fields sync up, raising everyone's game. Now, let's understand these laws. The law that never breaks. Energy follows one unbreakable rule. It cannot be created or destroyed, only change from one form to another. Think about it like money in your pocket. You can swap dollars for coins or spend it on gas, but the total value stays the same. A swinging playground swing shows this perfectly. At the top is potential energy, stored up high. At the bottom, it flips to kinetic energy, which is pure motion. Up again, it cycles back. No energy vanishes, it just transforms. This law sets the stage for spiritual work. Your inner power is not new. It's the same eternal energy reshaped by your focus, breath, or prayer. Block it, and it stagnates like a clogged pipe. Flow it, and you rise. Ever notice how the world around you changes states? That's energy in action. States of matter are just different vibrational levels of particle. The faster that they shake, the looser things get. Now let's talk about the states of matter. The first state of matter is a solid. Solid is low vibes, packed tight. Think of ice cubes, particles barely jiggle, locked into place like your energy when you're stuck in fear or doubt. Now let's think about a liquid. This is a medium hum. Water flows free but takes shape from its container, like emotions moving through you when you let a little go. Gas is the next state of matter. This is high speed and widespread. Steam expands everywhere, no boundaries. Picture your excitement bubbling over, filling a room. The next stage of matter is plasma. Plasma is also known as ether. This is a supercharged glow, lightning or neon signs, ionized particles dancing with electrical fire. This is pure power unleashed. Now, after you get done with the plasma, you have the Boise-Einstein consonance, the pheromonic constate, the superfluid, the supersolid, and then the quark-gluon plasma. That is the highest state of plasma recorded. Now, science stops at plasma, but spiritually we go higher. Ether or aether is the subtle fifth element, that invisible medium ancient sages carry lights and life force like prana or chi vibrating beyond the physical. This quintessence, the divine spark, pure oneness where all matter dissolves into source energy. It's the one state, everything unified, no separation. Your goal, raise your personal vibration from solid stuckness to flowing, firing, ethereal oneness. Now that is spiritual rank. Yes. Everyday forms of energy. Let's talk about it. Energy wears many hats, all powering your daily life. Let's unpack the main ones. The first one is kinetic energy, in motion, in action. This is the energy of movement. Feel the wind whipping through the trees on a stormy day. That's like air molecules crashing with kinetic force. Or crank up your favorite jazz track. The sound waves vibrate air to hit your ears. Your body pure kinetic when you dance or run. It's the rush that gets you going. The next form of energy is potential energy, power on hold, stored and waiting to explode. A ball perched on a hill has gravitational potential. If you nudge it, boom, kinetic downfall. Eat a meal, chemical potential in food releases you as you digest, fueling your day. It's the quiet promise of what's next. The next form of energy is thermal energy. This is heat's dance. Ever watch water bubble on the stove? Molecules jiggle faster, spreading warmth. That's thermal energy. That's why a hot shower relaxes you, or why friction warms your hands rubbing together. Tiny particles in constant motion, sharing their vibes. The next form of energy is electrical energy. This is the invisible flow. Electrical energy is charged particles racing along like electrons in your phone's battery, lighting the screen or powering apps. Your brain and heart thrive on it. Tiny sparks firing thoughts, beats. No cords needed, is wired right to you. The next form of energy is solar energy. This is the sun's gift. Sunlight beams radiant energy, turning into electricity in panels, heat and water heaters, or stored potential in batteries. Wind and direct solar from the sun, warmed air rising. Ancient wisdom nailed this. The Egyptians, the yogis, even the Bible saw the sun as prana, chi, or God's light. Stand in it, breathe deep, and feel that divine boost charging your spirit. The next type of energy is atomic energy. This is Einstein's mass to power revelation. Now we hit the high stakes league, atomic or nuclear energy, the universe's most concentrated punch, unleashing godlike force from the tiniest atom's core. This is energy transformation on steroids, perfectly illustrating the law of conservation. Mass itself flipped into raw power, neither created or destroyed, just radically reshaped. At its heart, nuclear fission is a heavy nucleus with uranium. Negative 235 swallows a neutron. It wobbles unstable, then splits into higher pieces. Boom. Energy erupts as heat, gamma rays, and separate neutrons that chain react domino styles and amplifying the blast. One split yields 200 million electrons volts. Dwarfing chemicals burn. About 85% surges as kinetic fury from flying fragments harnessed from reactor stem turbines. After Albert Einstein, the relative sage whose E=mc squared unlocked the secret, a sliver of mass converts to energy at light speed squared. Binding energy in the split nucleus is stronger, so lost mass becomes pure force, proving conservation in cosmic scale. Thought not a bomb builder. Einstein co-signed this in the 1939 Einstein letter to President Roosevelt, drafted by Leo Szilard. It warned that the Nazis might weaponize uranium chains, sparking the U.S. atomic research and the Manhattan Project. Later, this pacifist Einstein regretted it as his one big mistake, pushing post-war nuclear control via groups like the Emergency Committee of Atomic Sciences. Spiritually, fusion mirrors your ascent. Dense or solid ego mass cracks open in trials, releasing the chain potential into plasma-like light. Block the chain, also known as fear, and the power fizzles, flow down or surrender, and you radiate. Einstein's equation echoes biblical oneness, matter and energy unified, hinting at formless unity where all vibrates at the source. No wonder ancient Afrocentric lore saw stars as ancestral fires. Harness this and your spirit reactor will ignite. I wanted to talk about 0 point energy. This is the infinite field of stillness. 0 point energy is the universe's endless power hiding in total stillness, the lowest hum where even atoms won't quit vibrating no matter how cold it gets. Picture absolute zero, the chillest point possible at negative 273 degrees Celsius. Quantum fields stay awake, particles trembling at their bare minimum buzz, holding infinite potential in perfect quiet. It is the ground state of everything, a calm sea of energy denser than you can imagine, waiting for the right spark. This stillness isn't empty death, it's pregnant with rebirth. Like a caterpillar in its cocoon, locked in silent density, it reaches the 0 point low, dissolving into goo, atoms vibrating with enough to hold promise. Then change hits. The hum builds, stillness flips to motion, and the outbursts a butterfly, reborn, winged, and free. Or the ostrich egg, a thick shell seals with a micro world, a chick inside at its lowest vibration until pressure cracks the quiet. One peep, new life erupts, chain reaction style. Spiritually, 0 point energy is your formless ego. Ego dies in silence. Atoms at minimum tremble, then divide, change, rebirths you into oneness. Meditate in that stillness. Feel the hum rise and infinite power flows, turning solid fear into eternal flight. From science to spirit, these aren't just physics facts. These are your toolkit. Kinetic energy keeps you moving through battles. Potential energy builds your inner strength. Thermal energy warms your heart's fire. Electrical sparks intuition. Solar energy, that's the biblical light piercing your cave shadows. Grasp this, and energy stops being abstract. You're not just reading, you're awakening the electromagnetic force inside of you. Feel the shift already? Good. The next chapter builds on it. Sensing, directing, ascending your energy in motion. Time to master the flow. So that is chapter 2 of energy in motion. I hope that y'all enjoyed that. It's just a brief breakdown of different forms of energy, and as I divulge into this book, what it does is it shows you different levels of consciousness and how it appears through energy, right? It talks about the type of energy that the primordial divine principles give us. So there's a certain type of energy the mother gives us, a certain type of energy the father gives us, and as sons we have different types of energy. So let's read that. That's chapter 5. Chapter 5, unlocking spiritual gifts. Spiritual gifts emerge naturally as you ascend the core levels, from personal grounding to formless unity, like fruits ripening on a well-tended tree. These abilities, often called sheet hide in ancient traditions, activate through aligned chakras and frequencies, enhancing your capacity to serve and connect. They divide into biblical categories. The Father's motivational gifts. This can be found in Romans 12, verses 6 through 8 for everyday service. The Son's fivefold ministry gifts. This can be found in Ephesians chapter 4, verses 11 for leadership and equipping, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Great Mother's 9 power gifts. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, 8 through 10 for spiritual deconsummation. Beyond these, metaphysical gifts like telepathy and synesthesia arise progressively, tied to specific fields of energy systems. Understanding and cultivating them humbly, always for collective good and not for personal show. Biblical spiritual gifts, energy from the Trinity. Spiritual gifts, as outlined in Scripture, represent divine energy channeled through individuals for the common good, much like currents flowing through a unified circuit. They originate from distinct persons of the Trinity. This is the Father, the Son, and the Mother, each imparting specific vibrational frequencies that align personal resonance with collective purpose. These gifts transform latent potential into active power, fostering harmony across the body of believers while mirroring the energy fields discussed earlier. Motivational gifts grounded in personal service, fivefold roles built in relation to unity, and the power gifts unlock wisdom and beyond. The Father's motivational gifts, as detailed in Romans chapter 12, 6 through 8, emphasize a practical expression for empowered by grace. The scripture reads, quote, "Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith, or ministry, let us wait on ministry, or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth on exhortation, he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity, he that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness." These 7 gifts vibrate as steady foundational energy. Prophecy discerns through distraction, through faith attuned insight. This is your throat and third eye chakra activation. Service flows as hand-on aid, extortion energy grifts, sharing, giving shared resources simply, leadership guide through zeal, which is a willful power focus, mercy extending compassion cheerfully, used humbly, boldly, yet faithfully. They cultivate a communal balance, conserving energy like the law of transformation, preventing stagnation by directing it outwardly in measured proportion. Now let's move on to Christ. Christ, the Son, S-O-U-N, bestows the fivefold ministry gifts in Ephesians, and it says, quote, "And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers." These leadership energies equip believers for maturity, building the collective field. Apostles are pioneer visions. This is formless will. Prophets reveal the correct logos or wisdom that pierces the veil. Evangelists mobilize outreach. This is a spirit flow proclamation. The pastors nurture community. The teachers ground doctrine. They prepare the body for service, promoting unity towards Christ's structure. Relational energy amplified for the individual spark to be unified. Radiance, much like the Christ field layers, weaving personal strength into group harmony. Lastly is the Mother. The Great Mother has 9 power gifts. Sovereignty, distributed per 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verses 8 through 10, manifests supernatural intervention. And it reads, quote, "For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, and another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of those tongues." And so they're grouped as revelation. This is wisdom, knowledge, the discerning of spirits for hidden truths. This is also power. This is faith, healing, miracles for breakthroughs, and the utterance of prophecy, tongues, or the interpretation for edification. These pulse as dynamic surges, one spirit diversely activating interdependence. Revelation unveils the formless glow insights. The power enacts will, and the utterance echoes the will power, the vibrational word like plasma energy. They defy density, emphasizing unity and admit variety. There's no single gift that dominates, conserving collective force of the whole. These biblical gifts harmonize with progressional metaphysical shadis, unfolding as vibrational refinements across fields rather than forced pursuits. Telepath emerges in the Christ Logos field, where synesthesia is found in the formless unity field. Magnetism, telekinesis, and time travel follow, tied to chakras and frequencies, the side effects of aligned flow, amplifying service. Together, they form a complete energetic spectrum. The Father's gift stabilizes, the Son's gifts equip, the Spirit's gift empower, and they transcend, directing eternal energy from ascent to unity. So you have core consciousness powers. Core consciousness powers are the foundational capacities through which a human being encounters reality and shapes experience from the inside out. Awareness is the simple yet profound fact of knowing that one is present. It is the luminous field in which all perceptions, thoughts, and feelings arise. In cognitive science, this corresponds to the baseline consciousness, wakefulness, and meta-awareness, the ability to notice that one is thinking rather than one is being merged with thought. Perception extends this field of awareness by giving it texture and specifically transforming raw sensatory stimulation into a meaningful world through complex neural processing in the sensory cortexes and intruding hubs of the brain. Inner sovereignty is the ability to govern this inner world rather than be permanently ruled by habit, impulse, or conditioning, reflecting the role of excessive functions in the prefrontal cortex that supports self-regulation, long-term planning, and deliberate choices. And gnosis is direct knowing, an arrival of understanding without the feeling of stepwise logic or internal instruction. It often appears as sudden insight or an aha experience, and cognitive research on insight problems solving suggests that the brain can restructure information below the threshold of consciousness awareness before a coherent realization emerges. You can witness consciousness in the stance of observing thoughts, sensations, and emotions without total identification, similar to what psychology calls metacognition, the mind's capacity to monitor its own process. This capacity is central to the contemplation traditions, and modern meditation studies show measurable changes in brain regions associated with self-referation process when the witnessing mode is cultivated over time. Temporal awareness is the sensitivity of time, cycles, and momentum in both inner and outer world, and intuitive reading of when to act, when to wait, and when to realize. It resonates with biological rhythms such as the circadian cycles and the ultra-being patterns in which the nervous system naturally moves through the phases of heightened focus and rest, and with human ability to perceive temporal patterns in social and environmental events. Oh, thank you, Yasmin. Powerful risings to you, divine feminine. I'm so happy to have you here for real. You so lit. I'm going to read let's say I wanted to read a case study before I go, and while a few people are here. No, I'll read the telepathy mechanics. This is part 3, the metaphysical phenomenons, and this is telepathy mechanics. Telepathy is the ability to communicate thoughts, emotions, images, or knowledge directly from one mind to another without relying on words, gestures, or any physical means of exchange. Often categorized as a type of extrasensory perception, this is an ESP, and it challenges conventional understanding of communication through scientific studies, such as those conducted by the Society of Psychological Research since the late 19th century, have produced intriguing but incomprehensive results. Emerging naturally within the Christ field found in Logos or wisdom, telepathy arises from deep heart unity where rational bonds dissolve the illusion of separation between individuals. This chapter breaks down its core mechanics, chakra alignments, the practical ranges, spiritual flow, and vibrational principles, framing it as a harmonious extension of biblical gifts like prophecy and discernment accessible through international energy work. Defining telepathy. This goes beyond words to direct knowing. The term derives from the Greek roots tel, which means distance, and phathia, meaning feeling, capturing mind-to-mind transmission of impressions, whether a sudden flash of someone's hidden struggle or a shared burst of energy. Unlike everyday empathy, which relies on social cues, telepathy operates purely through vibrational resonance. Historical roots trace to ancient practices such as Egyptian dream incubation, where the priests sought divine insights collectively, or yogic traditions describing the sankalpa, will projected thought. Modern experiments like the Guy's Field sensory deprivation test realizes which was placed in one room, the receiver guesses in isolation. The report gives above chance accuracy, hinting at untapped human potential. In spiritual terms, this is your Christ feels relational love, embedding wisdom's direct flow and the truth as prophetic insight akin to divine logos, which can be found in John 1 verses 1, where I and you merge into unified awareness. Telepathy attracts precisely where personal clarity meets the cognitive love. The personal mental layer, which is honed through the mind level focus, fuses with the Christ relational bonds, producing logos or wisdom transmutation. Imagine sitting quietly with a trusted friend. Suddenly you know their unspoken worry without a word exchange. Intuitive patterns arrive like silent music heard in stillness. This echoes the Holy Spirit or the Great Mother's utterance gifts. Prophecy edifying groups proportion to faith. Discerning spirits, piercing deception. No ethereal cords or devices needed. This is pure vibrational attunement, comparable to twin flames sensing themselves across distances, or yogis entering shared shamnadi and energy logic. Fear creates static or low frequency blocks, sympathetic nervous system dominance. Trust generates coherence or a high vibe flow, a parasympathetic calm, conserving universal energy by redirecting it efficiently. So telepathy engages in a precise network of energy centers, each contributing to a send and reflow state. And so telepathy works with the heart chakra, which is the fourth chakra, and it forms the relational bridge that creates love and anchors in unity, preventing distortion. The next chakra is the throat chakra. Telepathy works with it because it gives an outgoing expression. Your intent shapes the signals clearly like a focused beam. Telepathy works with your third eye chakra, which is the sixth chakra. It receives visions and impressions, decodes subtle incoming data into usable insight. Lastly, telepathy works with your crown chakra, which is the seventh chakra. It grants universal field access. It links individuals' minds to collective consciousness. These align via specific frequency. So you can use a high G or G sharp tone, which is the throat heart resonance around 392 to 416 hertz, to act as a tuning fork, syncing vibrations like harmonics in a choir. Scientifically, this mirrors brainwave entertainment. The theta states, which is 4 through 8 hertz, foster intuition amplified by practices like binaural beats. Chakra imbalances like a blocked throat chakra from unexpressed truth will mute your signal. So you must balance. Balance restores clarity. There are ranges of telepathy, right? So these ranges depend upon proximity, distance, and bond strength. Telepathy scales with attunement manifesting across distances. So you have a close range telepathy. This is short proximity, same room or building. It reduces environmental interference. It is ideal for beginners. You can sense a partner's mood, lift mid-conversation, or a child's distress nearby. This is emotional familiarity and it enhances accuracy. You have long-range telepathy. Long-range telepathy spans for miles, for cities, or continents via a deep soul tie. This requires stronger field coherence. Reports from twin flames describing knowing a loved one's crisis overseas, defying physical limits. Then you have twin telepathy. This peaks amongst identical twins who have shared genetics or placenta, where one feels remote injury or emotion instantly, while science attributes it to hyperfamiliarity. Spiritual logic sees vibrational mirroring from the womb bonded fields. Then you have logic dictating progression. So close builds confidence. Long tests the endurance. The twin-like telepathy bonds exemplify innate unity. Interference, like doubt or distance, weakens it. So you have to practice your telepathy for strength. There are spiritual mechanics behind this, and the process follows a clear energy dynamic. You must preparation, regulate the nervous system, shift from flight and fight mode, which is shallow breath or tension, to rest and digest mode via the 4-7-8 breathing method. So inhale for 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. Or box breathing. And that's calming the vagus nerve for coherence. The next step is attunement. You must enter your heart focus. This is gratitude, visualization, clearing mental noise with hemisync audio. This is binaural beats, syncing the hemisphere to the theta waves. Transmission. The sender holds a clear, intent image. The receiver opens receptively. An exchange feels like a gentle download. The next step is verification. Test impressions through actions as prophecy aligns with faith. Lastly, your fear must dissolve here. Regulated nerves replace anxiety with calmness. Unity overrides isolation. Vibrationally, it is conserved flow. Stagnant energy from the solid state fear transforms into kinetic wisdom. And so you can also integrate your metaphysical gifts. But I wanted to give y'all the practical activation, etherical use. How do you practice your telepathy? In the morning, do you about 10 minutes of breath work. Plus, you need to hum in the key of G. If you got some singing bowls, get you one that is in the key of G, and that will help with telepathy. Paired with a practice. So if you want to do this with your partner, sit face to face with your partner. One of y'all can visualize. You can visualize a red apple, and then the other one will receive the download. So that is going to be the swap, and then y'all can discuss this accurately. Practice this a couple days throughout the week and let it get stronger and stronger, but you have to have trust. You need to be journaling, right? So log your hits when you pick up on something, write it down, write down the time, write down the location, and then if you look at the time as well, you'll see angel numbers and stuff, and so it'll give you even more insight on what information you were being receiving. And then there's an etherical guard. So these gifts are for edification. It is not for control. You must test it against love. And this comes from being in the cave shadows of isolation. Telepathy illuminates unity, and this is energy as shared light. In the next chapter, I did go over synesthesia, which is really, really interesting. I love talking about synesthesia, but most people know about telepathy as one of our super gifts, and these can be proven through energy. So I hope that you guys enjoyed these chapters of my book. It is available online on Amazon. As you can see, I'm published with books by Denitria. If you all have a book that you would like to produce, you can hit up either me or Miss Denitria, and she can help you get it produced. And I usually do the editing. And I have other books as well. So I just want to thank you all for your time. Thank you so much for your listening ear. If you want to hit me up personally in the DMs, I can send you a PDF copy for a cheaper price. But if you want to go on the website, you can also go on the website and purchase the book via the link in the bio. Thank y'all so much.
To gratitude for sharing.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you. That's very well read, and I learned something every time I listen, so I appreciate it. I wanted to throw a couple of the covers up just to share all the different options you have with the books that Morgan has published. So Consume the Scroll, Energy in Motion, which is what she just read, Get Out the Cave and Get into the Field, or Get Out the Cave and Get in the Field. I noticed that when I made that I made a little typo.
You good.
And then the I'm like, I'm messing my word in.
No, you good. I appreciate you and everything that you do. I would say that if you are a beginner and you are starting on your spirituality, the 2026-2027 Afrocentric Spiritual Codex is a great investment for anyone who is walking. And I will also be doing updated books annually, because I'm still coming across the words today. Oh, let me tell you a word I learned today. I learned a word today, and this word is metasapien. And I was telling you about Meta today, but I didn't know what her name meant, what it was to be a metasapien, and that's essentially what we are now. So this will be one of the new words I add to that dictionary. Metasapien appears in fringe and speculative circles as a kind of post-human or transcendent form of a Homo sapien. Below are several reoccurring fringe-style themes of metasapien synthesized for speculative cosmology and fringe science, right? Yes, metasapien. Some digital, transcendental, and singularity fringe theories thinkers frame metasapiens as humans whose minds have been uploaded or sufficiently augmented that they no longer depend on wet biology, genetics, and spiritual updated narratives. Esoteric and fringe evolution circles sometimes portray metasapiens as the next step of the human species, either genetically engineered or spiritually awakened beyond current Homo sapiens. Girl, you welcome. That's why I love these words, man. Like, you think you know everything, and then you come across a new word and it's like, damn, we got another piece of the puzzle, let's go. And so if someone asks you, where are you becoming, like, who are you, You tell them at the very least you are a meta sapien. You are an individual who has translated and transmuted light to the point where you are the next evolution of a Homo sapien, and this happened through spiritual awareness and consciousness. Ashe.
Ashe, ashe. So y'all be sure to check that out. The link is in Morgan's bio. You can also find it in my bio. You can go to Amazon and type in her name or type in any of the titles in her name and it'll come up. We also went over the book Rooted, which is a poetry book. I can't figure out how to resize. I'm working on learning TikTok. I think I have to change the whole background. But this is a poetry book. It also comes with some affirmations and some journal pages. It goes for $9.99 for the paperback. It's a short poetry book that's a nice book to have, and it goes for all ages. So this is something to look out for. I guess I don't like that one either. I'm trying to figure out this green screen with TikTok. The whole screen is messed up. So I apologize. I can't see any of the comments or anything, so I haven't responded back. But I appreciate everyone in the chats. I missed all of it, but I wanted to show you the covers or the flyers that we have for the books. Now that they
Gratitude. Thank y'all so much for reposting, coming and listening, being open-minded. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are important and y'all are intelligent. Thank y'all so much for y'all time and energy, for real.
Yes, yes. You should write a poem to go with each book. Look, so you can close each section out with some poetry. Did you have anything that you want to share?
I think that it's an excellent idea. I actually just recorded an episode of that poem I've been reading up here, and it's gonna come out on Thursday, and it's of Mary the Rebel. I can play that real quick. Let me see. Give me a second. But it's a lot of it is the time for the divine feminine to rise. And I say that just like, just straight up. And so all information about the divine mother, parthenogenesis, the X chromosome, all of it. That's what I'm on right now, because I can quite literally feel it in the air. And so I hope that you all enjoy this work. It's inspired by the Great Mother, for real. My first book, Get Out of the Cave and Get in the Field, I channeled a lot of that information. A lot of that information was given to me also by my spiritual leaders, the people who have helped guide me through this journey of consciousness and awareness. And so I'm very, very proud of these books. But most certainly, I would say that they're not a reflection of me. This information was given to me, and I was responsible for carrying it all the way through. And so I hope that you guys enjoy it. But this is the poem that will be published on Thursday. If y'all want to, this is a sneak peek. Okay.
Hello, my name is Morgan Gray, and welcome back to the Afrocentric Podcast. This is another poem written by me, and it is entitled Mary the Rebel. I grew up thinking it was wise to walk the narrow road, the path least taken, marching to the beat of my own drum. Who would have thought that following my heart would land me in a category of chaos, anarchy, and rebellion? As a young child, I was destined for revolution, marked by disobedience, militancy, and creative illusions. Resisting societal standards and pressures, daydreaming of liberating distant lands and coinciding God's kingdom into one. Thinking I was one of one upon awakening was when I learned that the counterpart of the Messiah was heaven on wheels. Who would have known that Mary's name meant rebel when the history books depict her as weak? Oh, Mary, don't you weep, a woman rebuked for having 7 wicked spirits, only remembered for her tears and the company she keeps. Mary the rebel, a woman scarier than any devil, overcoming lies, Sheol, and oppressive stereotypes from centuries. Who will protect Mary? Who will protect the rebel? When shit hits the fan, there's a shortage of the truth. A promise of protection, laced with fallacies, legends, and imperfections.
Oh, that motherfucker. That's it. I gotta go back through it and edit it. But that's it. That's a sneak peek of one of my new episodes that I'll be putting out on Thursday. I have another episode coming out on Thursday about fortifying the mind. And so a lot of times while we're in this spiritual community, we're talking about the revolution. We're talking about the war. I wanted to make it clear that the war is over your mind. It's over consciousness. It's over awareness. And so in order to be properly prepared and equipped for this war, you have to fortify your mind. And so in this episode, I talk about regulating your nervous system. And it's been a long time coming for me to put this episode out because we've been teaching about regulating our nervous system since March. We're also talking about metacognition, which is the ability to think about thinking while you're thinking, as well as talking about the micro gut biome as your second brain, and understanding that the brain is the only entity in this universe that has been capable of naming itself. And so your mama named you and God named Adam, but the brain named itself, and the brain is vulnerable. It is overloaded. It's overworked. And people are using direct energy weapons on the brain in order to influence your thoughts, as well as energy weapons being directed towards your gut, your stomach, your second brain, to influence the way that you think, the way that you eat, and the way that you feel. And so I want to encourage people to fortify your mind at all costs, to detox and to research different ways to be able to protect your mind for what's about to come. So yes, I hope that you guys go check it out. Check out my podcast. It's also linked in the bio. It's available on 50 different podcasting apps. I won my own awards for my research and stuff. And so this season we're talking about spirituality. We're on the Chitlin circuit. I'm playing jazz music in the background, gospel music, as well as blues music, because that helps with the regulation of the nervous system as well. So come get this free energy, this good energy, while it's available, because after a while I'm gonna put it behind a paywall, and then you're gonna have to pay $99.99 for that information. Thank you. Ashe.
Ashe, most definitely. Cop that while you can. I appreciate you for sharing. Yes, check out all of Morgan's books that are on Amazon, and look forward to some other options and some other platforms to get those books on. Also some bundles that she's going to be rolling out soon. Look, it'll all be coming soon. So we thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to turn it in for the night. Thank y'all for listening. We appreciate your time. We know you could be somewhere else, but you are here with us, and we definitely appreciate that. We want you to know that that's important to us. And I still can't see the screen, so I missed all the comments. But anything that you put in the screen, I appreciate. I appreciate sharing. And and the exchange with, y'all tapping the screen and the gifts. So y'all have a good one and look forward to us chiming back in and sharing some more information that we have learned, because that's what this whole process is about. It's about us sharing as we learn and, growing together, because that's what it is. It's each one teach one, reach one. And I'm a firm believer in that, and I'm grateful for each and every one that taps in for however long they're able to tap in. We appreciate you. So y'all have a grand night. Wake up tomorrow with intention on your mind. It's good to start your day with some great affirmations, some gratitude, some reflecting, and some silence. It's so many beautiful things that come about in silence, and I'm learning to sit still and to just bask in nothing and doing absolutely nothing, and it feels amazing. So get you in some nothing. But pencil in a whole bunch of nothing. I think it's important in our growth. It's important in our reflection on ourselves, because that's what it's all about right now. It's about us reflecting on ourselves and growing within ourselves, and that way we're so much more, and we are able to give so much more when we're whole and when our cup is overflowing. So peace, love, and light. Anything else, Morgan?
That y'all have a powerful rising, and remember that we are past the stage of awakening and we're in the stage of remembrance. So remember who you are.
Remember. Peace, love, and light, and have a great night. Till next time.